Hey y'all on YouTube, this is Rob from Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have an interesting review impressions for you of the CJRB Lago. I got this one in red. Looks a little orange to me, but this I'm told is red. So if your camera and your lens and your camera, your TV, whatever says it's orange, I understand because that's kind of where I think it is, but it is supposed to be red, so maybe I just don't know my colors well. But needless to say, I still like this a lot. And I think it probably would look more red with a black blade, because it does come in a version where it's PVD coated black and PVD coated hardware, so kind of like those screws here and the washer here, it's all black. But this is a great budget knife. Really like this. This is a flipper, and you can also have a open fuller right here, so you can do a spidey flick. It's like a spidey hole, but not really. It's, you know, a fuller hole. So you can do a reverse flick, a forward flick, which is really nice. Gives you options of deployment. And then, of course, you have the button lock. And I do like the button lock. The button lock is executed really well, works flawlessly. It's really nice. As you can see, drops really well. I do like that. Has a deep pocket carry clip, and as you can see, the screws are recessed. It's not all the way flat with the G10 scale, but it's reversible, so it's very consistent, very out of the way. Lots of room down here for, you know, with a little lip here. Oops, sorry, a little lip here, so you can get over the jeans. That's really nice. I don't know if I was showing this on focus. I thought I was, and I looked up, and I don't think I was. So again, recessed screws, deep pocket carry clip, works really nicely. We have the standoffs here in the back, which is nice. And then we have, you know, the pivot right here with a nice black washer. We've got some black hardware here, but the button is, you know, stainless or not coated. It's just showing the steel itself. And the blade itself is a nice flat grind all the way down to a very nice thin edge, which is really nice, and has a little bit of a, I guess, you know, it's flat up here, and it's, yeah, I guess you could say it's pretty flat all the way up here, but yeah. And then it's got some jimping up here, which is really nice for grip. We got, and again, on the flipper tab itself, it has some jimping, which is really nice for deploying the blade, which I find the flipper works really well. You know, you could do a push button, but the light switch works really well on this as well. And it's got this finger choil, and I think this finger choil works really well if you've got, you know, medium to large hands, which I do. So this knife fits me really well with my medium to large hands, and they're large in width, they're medium in length. So I have plenty of room right here. Definitely get a full grip. I think large to extra large hands would fit this. Maybe, you know, really large hands, you might have a little trouble. But this finger choil works really well. I don't have any issue with it coming up and cutting me. You know how I use it now. If you got massively thick fingers, then that might be a little tight. You want to hold it down low or something like that. But the jimping will definitely keep you in place, so I like that. And you can definitely do precision cuts, which is really nice. I like that a lot. And the edge is great. This is the typical AR. I don't know if you can. Did we get focus on that? Yeah. AR RPM9 steel. So that's a proprietary powder steel made by Artisan Cutlery. And CJRB is part of Artisan Cutlery, and that is their powdered steel. So it's a budget steel, very comparable to 14C28N and some of the other budget steels that are out there. I think this is a really great value. Has a little better consistency than like D2. I think it's more corrosion resistant, as I've heard. So there is that nice benefit. It's a rather large blade, so it's very useful. I find this very useful knife, and the way my grip holds on here, this clip doesn't really dig into my hand at all, so it's very comfortable. Definitely could be a workhorse kind of knife, especially for the budget range that this is in, for around 50 bucks. I mean, this is just a great workhorse type of knife. I'm really like this for that. I think it's definitely a knife I would maybe keep in my car to do work. And you know, now it is a button lock, so I know some people are like, well, it's a button lock, it's not going to be strong enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go out and chop wood with it or anything, but for what I do in my EDC purposes, I think this would work really great. If you notice, you can see it is the plunge lock in there. It works really well, and it's pretty secure in there. It comes up, you know, really well and engages the knife right there. Let's see if we can get that focused on. Yeah, so we can see engages the knife really well. So it's really secure and locked in there, and when you release that, it goes all the way back and locks it in place. So that's nice. What else? It G10 scales, steel liners. I do like that. What else? Let's talk a little bit about the weight here. Let's go ahead and get a measurement while we're at it. All right. see how much this is. So this is 4.38 ounces. So that's not too terribly bad. 4.38 ounces for what you get. And we'll look at the length here. So definitely, you know, ratios aren't perfect. It's definitely right at 3 inches for the blade, probably 3.5 inches from the blade to stock if we're going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, so we're right at 3.5 inches from tip to the grip, and the blade itself is going to be about 3 inches of cutting edge, right? And then we got the handle right here, and that's about 4.5, just a little over 4.5 inches. So the overall length of the entire knife, we're just right at 8 inches, I think. Yeah, so right at 8 inches. So it's a fairly, you know, good sized knife. It's not a super small knife. Definitely a very useful knife. Find that very, very helpful. And let's look at the blade stock here. We'll take a look. By the way, it came in really nicely centered. No issues there. It is caged ceramic ball bearings, so that's really nice. You'll find that that gives it great action and very, very smooth. So there we go. I tell you, I don't know what I need to do. This thing is always off a little bit. So, all right, so we're at 0.1 inches. So we're like 1/100th of an inch, I guess, or 1/10 of an inch, or I guess they say I don't know what the phrase is. I say 1/10 of an inch, 0.1 inches. So which I think is very thin stock for a large blade like this. So this makes it a very nice slicer. I guess that's why I felt like it was pretty thin on the edge coming all the way down. So that makes it, I think, very useful. What else about this knife? I really have enjoyed carrying this. It carries well, even though this is a texture G10. It doesn't rip my jeans off, but rip my jeans up, but it certainly gets a good traction and holds them in place. So that's nice. If you notice, it's chamfered on the edges here, so that's nice and comfortable for grip. Even right here, it's kind of chamfered when you're coming in, so you're always comfortable. No sharp edges. They do a really, really nice job. For a budget knife, this is just fantastic. I'm definitely going to put this in one of my recommended budget knives for sure. And I don't think you can go wrong if you're looking for a good, useful knife, a trustworthy knife. This is definitely it. So something worth considering. We'll do a little close-up shots here, and you'll see the nice belt satin finish going down here and comes across. Very typical of CJRB. They do a really nice job on that. And you can see the pivot collar right there. You know, it's a nice little washer around there. It gives a nice aesthetic there. And you can see the nice texturing on the G10, the black deep carry clip. Definitely can see that over here. And you can see the nice fuller hole, and it's not sharp. It gives you enough for traction in here, but it's not sharp. That's going to cut you or you know dig into you and slice you up or anything. They do chamfer those edges pretty nicely. It's still pretty sharp up here. I mean, it's not super sharp. I think we can definitely get a little nail off of there, but it's not super sharp, so you can still do like a ferrous rod or something if you need it to do that. Huge choil here. Definitely it's a finger choil, but great sharpening choil. Allows you for a lot of sharpening. That's really nice. What else? Well, let's compare it to some of the other knives that we have. So we'll compare this one to, I like comparing it to the Penguin. So here's the regular Penguin. You can see it's definitely much larger than that. If we compare it to like a Bug Out, you can see that as far as the blade length, about the same in the blade length, but as far as the handle, this is definitely a larger handle. And with that finger choil, this is definitely going to be a much, longer blade going out. So there is that. Compare it to a Paramilitary 3, or Para 3. This is you'll notice the handle length is pretty similar, especially with the finger choil, but as far as the blade length, this is definitely a longer blade length for sure, right? And then we'll compare it to the Para 2, the Paramilitary 2. You can see the handle on this one is definitely going to be a little bit longer. With the finger choil, it's going to be pretty close, but the blade on this one is certainly longer. So there is that. All right, so that's comparison. And kind of to wrap up, I've carried this for a while. I've really enjoyed carrying it. It's been very comfortable. It's very useful, very consistent. Haven't had any trouble with the button lock. Works really well. Very fidgetable, so if you like fidgety knives, this is definitely one. I get in a lot of trouble with my wife for fidgeting with this one, so definitely something I'd recommend and consider for you to consider for your own EDC purposes. Great gift idea, if nothing else, but I mean, just fantastic value. Overall, I'm going to recommend this knife, and hope that you consider it as well. And if you found this review and impressions of value to you, would you please consider commenting down below, letting me know what other things you might like me to discuss or talk about or look into as I review and do my impressions of different knives. I would appreciate the feedback, so I know, maybe how to bring you a little more information that might be of value. If you found this of value, helpful, interesting, or entertaining, would you consider subscribing and then maybe hitting the like button? That sure would help me out and help me to know to keep on producing more content. And if you found this video of interest and of value, would you consider following me over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives? That's robs_nerdy_knives. Appreciate you watching today, and y'all have a great day and a great week. Bye.